In the middle of the Atlantic Ocean lies a land so exquisite, the gods call it Barbados, or Ichiruganem for short, according to the Caribs, our native peoples. I've never really been able to adequately explain my absolute love for this land. And I couldn't be prouder to affix as one of my adjectives a vibrant Bajan in front of my name at this particular time. The Barbadian or Bajan family, I will tell you, is a beautiful thing. It truly is the center of most everything that we are. As we are thinking people, the thought wafting all around this lovely land is how can we heighten, strengthen, and raise up the Bajan family? Well, picture this. A man, strong, a woman beside him, strong, holding up a baby in full bronze, sparkling in the sunlight. This giant-sized sculpture depicting the Bajan family, we're placing at the top of Bridgetown, our town, our main town, Horatio Lord Nelson, a fabulous sailor who sailed for the English and despite all odds, succumbed only to disease after fighting off the French in the Caribbean and other places. But I will get back to that in a minute. Managing the project of moving the statue of Horatio Lord Nelson to the museum complex at the Garrison Savannah, UNESCO heritage site, and replacing it with this, a depiction of a Bajan family, calls for some precise, vibrant logistical planning and implementation. Building a team would be necessary. Only the best will do. A construction magnate, moving the statue to please, a historian, an artist, and specialists in cranes and equipment. The plan, January 1st, 2021, the artist is commissioned to create from Barbadian stone this image of woman, man in partnership raising their child. Number 2, January 21st, the University of the West Indies is commissioned to work on creating contents for the time capsule of Horatio Lord Nelson and the statue, this statue dubbed Raising. June 21st, coinciding with our carnival and Kadooment season, daily public education and PSAs about the historical relevance of Lord Horatio Nelson and its rightful place, rightful historical place, fighting for the English territory and values at our museum, the Historic Garrison. July 25th, we prepare the space at the front of the museum where the statue will be placed, simultaneously cordoning off all of Nelson's statue, and MTW will coordinate the contractors. Perhaps the construction civil works contractor would need to degrout the statue with his hilties and break up its concrete base. July 26th, in 3 to 4 hours, the knuckle boom crane and truck, all in one unit, lifts the statue and lays it down and transports Lord Nelson to our treasured historic garrison. July 26th, the University of the West Indies and History Department and Archival Department extracts and studies the contents of the time capsule. July 26th as well, the Prime Minister, her name, Mia Amor Motley, and the historian replace the updated time capsule. July 26th, again, the contractor pours the new grout and cement in place, securing our esteemed visitor, Lord Nelson, in place in its new home. 2 p.m., July 27th, the artist hands over the sculpture to Madam Prime Minister. The ceremony and protocol arrangements, all by the Prime Minister's office. On July 29th, the crane trailers are employed with cavalcade and police escorts, while on August 1st, at 10 a.m., through the people-lined streets, the knuckle boom crane and truck transports the statue dubbed Raising to its home at the top of Broad Street in Bridgetown, in front of the Parliament buildings, heralding the beginning of the emancipation festivities of the National Cultural Foundation. Prime Minister Mia Moore Motley and the professor put the time capsule in, and it's sealed in place in its home. Now that's the first part. The second part, there are so many things in our social system. This one will be 5 to 7 minutes. There's so many things in our social system we can celebrate. The family is just one, a most appropriate one. And though it comes in many shapes and forms, we can start here. Moving, Lord Nelson, my countrymen and women, is not a sign of rebellion or historical discard. It is a move on the part of a developing people, a maturing nation, to put what we cherish in prominent spaces for our own development. If we erected a sculpture such as the one I identified earlier, we would be heightening the spirit of who we are in triumph, despite and superseding our past. It is true there is some significance of Lord Nelson to our history. We archive our history at the museum and archives. The statue would be of more significance at any one of those two places. As we approach 54 years old, maturity in many realms, symbols matter. The images we have in our public spaces, they matter. They shape how we think about ourselves more than we care to admit. Now, we have the opportunity to raise up the family, raise up the responsibility of the man to his family, the responsibility of the woman to her family, the responsibility of children to their families. And we have to image that squarely in the center of our town, our mind's eye. Nelson, in front of the museum in the historic garrison, is appropriately placed. The public education and social media preceding this move, carried out respectfully and completely with both Barbadians at home and abroad, will lovingly explain the statue in Bridgetown. It was erected and unveiled on the 22nd of March, 1813, to commemorate the anniversary of the British Royal Navy's victory in the Battle of Trafalgar. This happened in 1805. It coincided with Nelson's visit to Barbados that same year, 1805, and was considered a hero by locals of the day for his battles against the French, who controlled some of the other islands in the Caribbean. Indeed, the French and the British forces were often battling for ownership of the islands, with several islands changing hands frequently. A time when the majority of Bajans and Caribbeans were 3/4 human. It didn't matter much whether we were French or English. Still, we were 3/4 human. National symbols are meant to call us forth. They are meant to inspire and motivate. This statue of Lord Nelson is of a particular part of our past. One, in truth, that is divorced from the effective lives of a majority of fully human Barbadians today. Yes, what we put in our public spaces is of major significance to how we look and want ourselves to look at our future, collective and personal. Funnily enough, what was all wrapped up in the colonial project was the fracture and destabilization of the vital family. Our future, however, is dependent on our upliftment of the family as the supportive foundation we are nurtured by. I stand here as a proud Barbadian. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.